Yeah, we're live. Hi, guys. Firmly grasping it and not falling. The angle can be adjusted 360 degrees. No matter what the road conditions are, it can ensure stability. The part that is in direct contact with the mobile phone is made of soft silicone, so you can use it. God bless and stay dry.
All right. Hey, stick around, guys. Get your ornaments so they're there in time if you want to grab one.
You designed them. He designed these Christmas ornaments, guys, called the what?
All right. Hey,
Merry Christmas, Pastor Paul. Pretty character. I'm a character on that one for sure.
Yeah.
Check it out if you want to.
Hey, Doug, good to see you.
It will be drop shipped right to your house, and you're helping the ministry. And definitely you want to get an ornament and hang it on the tree or hang it on the fireplace or wherever. It's a conversation piece, that's for sure.
White elephant gift, gag gift, whatever you want to do with it.
Oh yeah, we got people that have their order.
Diane, our power went down again yesterday. We had a big storm and our power dropped out for a couple of hours. I'll be glad to see the back end of this year, I can tell you.
Several, and they're putting it all over the tree. I mean, they're decorating the tree with it. I mean, that's crazy, but that's cool. Okay, it's kind of cool. All right, I'll see you, Drew.
All right.
Later. And guys, also, I don't know if Heidi's available real quick, but if she could come on just for a second and tell us if people.
Diane, what about how he wrote Kim Clement into his gatherings, whatever it's called? He's been dead 10 years, and this guy's got him as a guest. What a fraud. All about the money, isn't it?
Well, can get their the Israel trip. The Israel trip is ready. I think you can now push the links. You can go with me to Israel or go with me to.
We're still waiting for you to go to Hawaii and give them your Bibles.
The Mediterranean, or go with me to Egypt.
How are you?
And Heidi was not expecting a call. She was not expecting this call. And she's not answering.
Your call has been forwarded.
Okay, so that's okay. But check it out. She sent out a bunch of emails, so check your emails, and you may have it, all of it, with your brochure to go with me and Heidi and Bishop Larry Ragland and his wife Sandy to Israel. I know we had over 170 people inquiring about it. So if the link is ready, you can start locking down your seats to go with us to Israel. I know there was over 50 some people wanting to go to Egypt, and I don't know how many were wanting to go to Greece and the Mediterranean, or you can do all three. I know of people who are going to do all three. It's like this is their swan song. One lady said her and her husband they're going to do the whole thing because you get to spend 30 days with Paul and Heidi. And literally walking through the Bible. We're going to go to Mount Sinai. If you go with me to Egypt, we're going to take a river cruise down the River Nile. We're going to go to the pyramids and to the Sphinx. What a trip. In Israel, we're going to go everywhere. Mount Megiddo, look at where Armageddon will take place. Mount Carmel, where Elijah called down the fire. Mount of Olives, where Jesus ascended to heaven and is coming back. And down to the Garden of Gethsemane. We're going to go to the Garden Tomb and take communion. We're going to take a boat ride across the Sea of Galilee. I'll baptize you in the Jordan River, and on and on and on. And so, if you may say, hey, I've done that, Pastor Paul, but I'd like to do that cruise. I'd like to do that Mediterranean cruise. I'd like to go to Corinth. I'd like to go to Thessalonica. I'd like to go to Ephesus. I'd like to go to the Isle of Patmos where John received the book of Revelation. I'd love to stop in Turkey and for a moment or two. I'd like to go on that, do that. But pick the one you want to do or pick 2 out of 3 or pick all 3. Do whatever you want to do. And if you can't go, I'm going to try to show you as much footage and interact with you all day long, every day, and so that you get to follow along, okay? Going to do everything I can to help as many people find out about the land the Holy Land and the land where Jesus Christ was at, where Apostle Paul went, where Moses was. And I want to go to those footsteps of the Bible. God told me this is the year. Take as many people as you can to all the world. Go into all the world, okay? And take the gospel of Jesus Christ and take my people. Because your faith.
I got real life insurance to protect us financially. You can choose up to $2 million cover. Click to request a quote now.
Yay!
One day you're gonna recount.
Hey, baby, good to see you, mate.
I thought this portable AC from 2 Aussie engineers was another scam. 3 months later, I haven't touched my split system once. It's called Breezamax, and it's nothing like those clunky portable units you've seen before. This thing cools any room in 90 seconds flat. You press one button, cold air blasts out immediately. It's like having industrial-grade cooling in something smaller than a car battery.
Yeah.
And the best part? Runs on 90%.
And Diane, the best thing is the money's not going to mean anything in a year or two anyway. So he's saving up his money to do nothing with it.
Absolutely through the charts. When you go and walk in these wonderful places that the Lord has done. Mike around the world's going to call here any minute. Wow, what a show we've already had. I mean, what great information tonight. Luis Elizondo and Disclosure. Incredible what's going on with the atmospheric compression up there in the river, the atmospheric river, and the rain bombs falling up there in the Northwest. What about the wars in Russia and Ukraine?
Yeah.
What about, we're about ready to go to war with Venezuela, it looks like, and maybe even Colombia. Mike's got to help us understand all this. What are we doing? We just took a tanker, an oil tanker from Venezuela, and Venezuela's president said he's going to break our teeth. This is getting serious. And what about, we got hundreds of people that are being quarantined in South Carolina. They're being quarantined. Can't get out, can't go nowhere. They're under strict orders, mandated. It's not an option. It's happening, guys, right now in South Carolina because of the measles. And what about 6G? What is 6G going to?
Diane, he's starting to show his colours now, isn't he? DJ, I'm talking about DJ Trump.
Do to it. What about the Nephilim? Are they on the earth? What's going on? Disclosure is really the disclosure about the fallen angels, or is the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, are they galloping? Are they galloping right now? Have the seals started to break? Not all 7, but are they starting to break? And where are we in all of this? And hey, Tony Blair thought for sure he was going to be on the 10. There's going to be 10 people on the board of peace, and Donald Trump is going to be the chair, and there's going to be 10 advisors. Some of them are Arabs, some of them from the West.
You watch him totally ignore the 10 kings. He'll totally ignore that.
None of them are Israeli, and they're going to be the ones in charge of Israeli security along the border with Gaza and Egypt and all of that. And Tony Blair, who's always everywhere, has been told, you're not going to be on it. He thought for sure. But Jared Kushner might be the guy. We're really watching what's going on right now, guys. Is this the 10 horns in the book of Revelation? Just a question. That's why I'm writing a book, Trump versus the Beast. And we're going to talk about the 10 kings of Revelation in it. So Mike Run the World will be calling any moment. There's so much to address here. There's so much to talk about. What about what happened in St. Petersburg? The explosion in Russia, St. Petersburg, Russia. The flames and the entire market area engulfed in the flames last night. What was that about? And it just keeps going on and on. And Trump also threatening the president of Colombia. What is this all about? Joining us right now from somewhere around the world, Mike from around the world. Mike from around the world. Okay. We lost Mike from around the world. He'll call right back. Oh boy, this might be one of them shows. He'll be here. He was calling. It's just interesting how all of this is playing out. All right, Mike from around the world.
Pastor Paul.
Hey, how we doing, Mike?
Good. Is this connection okay?
This connection is really muffled, really bad.
Muffled.
Muffled and
Yeah.
All right, stand by.
Okay,
What about now?
that's better. That's better.
Okay, that'll work.
How you doing,
Yeah,
Mike?
that's better.
Pretty good. How about yourself, Pastor?
I'm doing pretty good. I feel great, and man, I tell you, this first hour I just loaded it with everything. Okay, I mean everything but the kitchen sink here. So we can.
We have everything but the kitchen sink happening.
Yes, we do. Oh man, well, can we start with Venezuela? I mean,
Sure.
President Trump takes an oil tanker, threatens Maduro, threatens the president of Colombia. Maduro threatens America, going to break our teeth out. What's going on, Mike?
Yeah, that's a strange situation, but we know about the drugs and the other things, so I believe that it looks like it's pointing to something a bit more serious than drugs, when you say.
I would guarantee that it is. I mean, drugs is no doubt. Drugs is a part.
I'm on the understanding there's some sort of portal in Venezuela they're all after. Russia's already there, apparently.
Of it, but I think that is it because of China trying to set up shop in both Venezuela and Colombia?
Trying.
They are.
Well,
they?
Putin and China had a meeting to come to the rescue of Venezuela, and Putin gave direct warning regarding Venezuela. If that helps people understand.
He said he's got his back. He said, "I've got your back." What's that mean?
Well, they're in cahoots. Each one is an intimate part of the other. They have a partnership, and they constitute.
You can never hear Mike properly.
Western power. So, yeah, they will come together on that. Mike,
this week, while doing everything else I'm doing, late at night, I've watched a 12 episode documentary on World War II.
Mhm.
On first of all, it started in 1938 when Hitler was signing treaties with the French and the British, and he was telling everybody that look, I'm just here, but he's slowly taking small countries, Austria, and he worked his way around, and the next thing you know, he invades Poland. And I'm watching this, and I'm asking myself, is this a replay? I mean, the Emperor of Japan was doing the same thing over in the South Pacific. So, are we watching a replay here?
There are. The Middle East is key to quite a few things, right? And so China and Russia will be one of those deciding factors. We know biblically that the Middle East will come up, right? With a few other nations with them. And of course, the Israel invasion will begin it all. But these countries, China and Russia, and some of the other, internal factions of nations, all these guys have already gotten together and declared themselves the new world, right? The USA it's not in the news of the USA, but outside of the news of the USA, all these other countries have gone ahead without the USA. So the people, the populace of the USA, they're not very familiar with some of the declarations that were made by China and Russia and North Korea, so on and so forth, right? Yeah. They have their own currency. Yeah. They have already, and believe me, they have a lot of backing behind their plans, and that's a big problem for the West, right? So it's almost like we're put in a position we have no choice but to interrupt what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, we're going to be devalued on all sides. And that's a big, it's a big problem. That's a big national security problem.
So is President Trump, I know he's in conversation with the European leaders, the French, the Germans, the British, the European Union, the West. And Japan is getting very
Itchy.
irritated because it's not just China and Taiwan, but Japan feels the pressure. And I think probably the Philippines do, and probably Australia and New Zealand as well. There's a spirit of expansionism. Is that a good term? And we better we got to do something to try to break this up.
Yeah, I think there's always been one. What's been happening is something, for many years now, the America was number one on top. And let's go ahead and face it. We became too pious.
Yep.
Too prideful, right?
Yep.
We won the title of the defender of the world with World War II. What happened was, so after we captured that title, we began to believe our own rhetoric, but we were not exercising, right? We didn't stay in shape. And so other countries, they began to become powerful without the USA, right? All of a sudden, we find ourselves in a position where they have matched our technology, right? If their technology was subservient to ours, we would not have the fights we're having. So that should tell you something. When these problems take a long time, it means that we cannot just go and defeat another nation. We can't do it, or we would have done so. So when you find yourself with a matched enemy, the only solution is to, by propaganda, talk to your enemy out of believing that they're powerful. Well, China broke camp. They just broke loose. Russia broke loose. And somebody's bluff is being called, right? So unfortunately, that means it's going to come down to a physical confrontation.
So
right? Because all the rhetoric that they could possibly use has been utilized.
So
all of it
you wouldn't do that if you didn't have superior or at least very equal to technology.
That's right.
For warfare. So you wouldn't even try
right.
this. So in your
That's
opinion, the Russians and the Chinese certainly can compete with the United States.
That's right.
And that's
right.
That's dangerous.
That's right. When you can get beyond rhetoric and national pride and start looking at the entire picture, right? And technology, right? Even in as far as technology is concerned, they have gone way beyond what we could believe. Take artificial intelligence, for example. Now, it's always good to have national motivation behind developmental projects. China developed an artificial intelligence system with I believe 1/9 of the components we did.
Wow.
It's almost like saying that we're still building giant ovens and they have a microwave, right?
Right.
So that's a comparison. Well, that does not look good for for us. It doesn't look good. And President Trump realizes, stepping into the White House, that we've got to catch up quick. This diplomacy or trying to make your enemy believe that you have something when you don't, that's not going to work for so long that they're going to call your bluff. So we have a lot to do. Yeah, the take for example the announcement of fusion, some of the steps in energy, right, that we have accomplished. China did that last year, right? So they accomplished something that nobody else did, right? They're very hush-hush about it. Now, they've been working at this for some time. China also has a collider. China also has neutrino detectors. China has also sent more probes to space and to the moon, more than we have, right? That's unheard of.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. So, we have, we're in a very strange position, and it's a very delicate one.
Talking about technology, Mike, can we shift into 6G? This is starting to become a conversation, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence and even now artificial superintelligence. 6G, I'm understanding, is something way beyond 5G. And it's not just making the internet faster. I mean, we're talking about completely linking the world and everything in the world together. I almost think it's the system that sets up the beast. What is your understanding of 6G, and what does it really mean to us here on the Earth?
Well, right now, fiber optics is taking center stage. So they're going to have a hybrid technology with radio and fiber optics, and you put those two together with new communications protocols, which means new ways to send data through a signal. It is going to be an unbelievable thing. Anything beyond 6, 7, and 8 or beyond takes artificial intelligence to manage.
7 and 8.
We couldn't develop that yet, because what you're going to see next is 10G.
It's amazing what a little snooze can do.
Country, from a cowboy blues to her now home roots, she's country.
Oh, hi there. It's so good to see you.
At Hammond Care, we've been caring for people for more than 90 years.
They're calling it 10G.
10G?
Yeah.
Well, what is that?
That's going to become popular next. And that will essentially link all subminds of AI together, allowing them to operate in one unified way, right? So all of us, every device, everybody is going to be interconnected in some type of neurological web, so to speak. So it'll be pretty fast, which means, mainframe computers can talk to all other computers at the same time that the main AI computer is talking to the new Earth 3 system, and so on and so forth. So all these systems tied in together, right? Which means absolute command and control over every network packet that would ever leave a device. By the way, they need that before disclosure comes. They have to have absolute control to be able to articulate, to manage, and to control the flow of information. The only way that can be done is with AI. And so they have to hurry up and get that in place.
You know what happened to Heidi this week, and I may get this a little wrong, but not. I think it's close. Her and I are working on a book we're writing together, and she was doing some research, and she was in chat. Either she was in Chat GPT or she was in Open AI. I'm not sure which one she was using, but as she was researching, there was another brain system that she went to, and she asked it a question about the subject we're talking about. And the Chat GPT said to the other one, no, you can't have you can't have the key. And this one then said back to it, yes, we can. She wants to do this, give us the key. And then so the two systems started arguing. AI started arguing with. She sat there and watched them fighting over. The other system wanted AI or Chat GPT to get the key.
Yeah.
So it's already beginning that this artificial super intelligence. It's starting, Mike. It's starting.
Yeah, I believe that horse has already left the stables, Pastor Paul. Of course, they're not going to announce that.
No.
And those who did, they labeled them as crazy. Right?
Heidi sat and watched it. She said, you said this. I watched them do it. So it's happening. It's just what you're saying. Nobody's telling that. It's not being released to the public.
I tell you, Pastor Paul, those people who know how to build these systems, right?
Yeah.
All of them will tell you. You can't control something like that. The human mind is not quick enough to control something like that, right? I mean, I've had to shut my own little tiny neural network down about 30, 40 times because it was, looking into too many things.
Yeah. Okay, now I don't want to stop your train of thought. You said that the reason 6G's got to be implemented because they got to get things in position or they can't go forward with disclosure. Do you want to?
No, they can't.
Can you?
They have to control information. Think of it this way, Pascal. Think of society right now. Right now, everybody, they have this motivation behind it that they want to find out about UFOs. It is a good distraction. to them, right? You have 3 camps, or 4 or 5 camps actually, but you have those in intelligence and national defense, right? So they are looking at what the people need to know. You have those who absolutely know about the subject, who by no means, they're never going to say that people are ready to know this, right? Because they're connected with, they have to give out historical data concerning this. And here's why. Imagine a person who knows about the subject, right? You have other camps too. You have people who directly deal with the subject. I mean, directly deal with it. And, but imagine they're thinking about disclosing this to people. You cannot, if you disclose that, yes, you know,
Wow.
these things are real, that's one thing. But to actually make a connection and see that we know about them, okay, automatically people are going to say, well, you know, what about their technology? What about their, you know, philosophies? You know, they're going to ask all these questions. It's going to dig up a history they've been trying to bury. My personal belief is they do not want to come forward with the true history, because if they come forward with the true history, nobody's going to like that. Nobody's going to like what has actually happened. So let's just say there's a story behind the story, and disclosure is not the real story. It's what has happened historically, which is the real story. You know, just how far mankind has gone. Because then people will look at this world and their leaders as, you know, less than human, as treasonous individuals is what they'll see.
Mike, real quick, just I'll stop for just a second just to throw out there. I've already brought this up that there was a 6.7 earthquake in Japan. Some of the folks in the chat room told us about 20 minutes ago. We announced that.
Yeah.
I'm checking on it again. It is a 6.7. It is very shallow. It's only 16 kilometers deep. There is a tsunami warning in effect. They believe a wave will be hitting around 3 feet high, about 1 meter. So that's not real bad. The thing is, though, even though it's a 6.7, it's a lot more shallower than the 7.6 we had a couple days ago, and it's in the exact same place. So there is evacuation orders going into effect right now along the coastal areas of Japan. So let's just we'll keep that in mind as we go forward.
Mark,
Go
you
ahead.
should mark that location. We have tectonic shifting taking place deep in the earth. We have some major changes taking place in the earth.
So
It's
that
going to
place,
cause some major issues.
so
And it's not like the world is going to come and announce or help anybody with it, right? They're not going to do that. It's kind of like Washington and Northern California and those places with the rain they're dealing with.
Yep.
We went over that Monday.
Yep.
Monday.
It's still happening too. I'm just on the phone with my son before you came on.
I tried to go over that with folks Monday. You know what the problem is? The world is not going to tell people what they need to hear.
No.
But God is surely giving that to the Christian community. But the Christian community, well, we've got to be bold and speak up.
Amen.
Right?
So
I think that a lot of people are so afraid of getting something wrong. They won't warn about something that's right.
Yeah, I don't care if they call me a false prophet or Begley, you know, you're sensationalizing and whatever. No, I've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah.
The earthquakes haven't stopped. They're getting worse. The volcanoes are getting worse. The catastrophic events from some of these earthquakes, matter of fact, they're just now saying that this 6.7, dozens of people are already reported injured in a hotel in Omori.
Yeah.
It's the same place where the 7.6 hit. Now they're saying dozens of people are injured in a hotel there. Power outages throughout the area. Disruption is happening to the expressways and the rail services. It was felt extremely strong in Hashun and Hokkaido, and I'm not going to try that again. So in other words, and we have a tsunami warning of a 1 meter wave. But the main thing is, I think, because it keeps shaking their mic, apparently their infrastructure starting to crack. You can only shake a building so long, even if it's well built. And so we,
Hopefully people heed the warnings. You know, I tell you something. It's just like in Washington State,
Okay.
They have volcanoes there,
Yes, they
right?
do.
They will wake up. On the East Coast, there's a major issue in the Atlantic. They should be telling everybody on the eastern seaboard to prepare for lots of water, but they're not doing it.
No.
They should tell Southern California and Mexico to prepare for lots of water, but they're not doing it. Right? This water issue is not going to stop.
Yeah, we had Paul Jr. on just a few minutes before you came on, and fortunately, he's up in higher elevation as far as he's not worried about flooding, but he is worried about landsliding. And that is happening over in Washington State and in Oregon and in Canada, Northern California. And this rain, they're calling this an atmospheric river. You have talked about it. You said there'd be new storms and even new names for storms. This is really weird. And we've had atmospheric rivers before, but Mike, this seems different up there, is it?
Saturday, I believe it was Friday and Monday. I was talking about these 3 storms that would come, but that Washington State would have a flow of rain going towards it, right? Because we have a change in the magnetic and geostructure of the Earth. Yeah, I mean, it's altering. It's going to get worse. And this constant, steady, stream of clouds and moisture that's coming from the ocean, that's the first of many storms. People are going to have to get used to that.
Wow.
But they need to prepare people. People have to prepare their properties for floods. If they live in low-lying areas, people are going to have to make some tough choices. This will hit all throughout the USA. It's going to hit all throughout Europe. And Africa is not immune.
Wow.
All right, so we're going to be dealing with that. We also have, because we have so many shifts in the interior of the Earth, volcanism is going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
I mean, a big
Hey,
problem.
Voss, good to see you, mate.
Will come up in places where there is no volcano. How about that?
Oh, that's
And this
crazy.
erosion from the water, right, is going to cause sinkholes the size of cities.
What, Mike? No.
It's eroding the ground underneath the ground underneath these cities. There is a major problem. A major problem. All this water is eroding.
Is this breaking news?
The cities.
I mean, this isn't being talked about in your mainstream media.
No, they're not going to tell anybody that.
I mean, because I'd say they probably know there'd be a massive panic if they start saying, let us show you the areas where massive sinkholes are coming. Or if they start telling about all the flooding in the coastal areas and even the flooding in places that shouldn't be flooding. Is that what you're saying? It's going to, and magma is going to come out of the ground in areas where there's no volcano?
Yeah, we really have to get ready for the water. The water
first.
Asphalt is going to start taking over everything, and they're not warning anybody about this.
No, they're definitely
not warning, and it's going to continue. It will continue. You think this atmospheric river was bad? Wait till it hits a population area. I mean, a big population area.
Yeah. So volcanoes, earthquakes, rain bombs. Atmospheric
water is going to be the worst.
Water's the worst. You're still saying, even though we got this, we got meteorites coming, we got all that happening, and we got the Earth, we got volcanism increasing tremendously. But you're saying
100%.
First, it's the water.
Yeah.
It's not going to destroy the Earth, but it's going to wreak havoc on the Earth. Is that what I'm hearing?
As in the days of Noah, massive floods.
That's right. I strongly and firmly believe there's not going to be anybody will be able to step outside, step right into some water.
That's crazy. I mean, that's not good, Mike. That's really not. So what did you say? What did you just say a little bit ago? What's causing it? Something about the magnetosphere, or what was you saying?
Oh well, we have tectonic shifting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But all these dynamics on the outside of the Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are it's chaotic. It's chaotic. And every time the sun lets off solar energy, the Earth is absorbing all of it.
Mm.
We're going to hit a point also to where just about every afternoon we're going to have auroras all the way down to Florida. That will soon be in Mexico and Guatemala, all those different places. It'll start going down that far. And people, they're going to think it's beautiful, but they won't understand what that actually means.
Right.
They won't understand it. So people should get ready for the water damage is going to be major, but that will be the most devastating. We're going to continue to have fires, of course, because we have too much debris coming into the atmosphere, and war is eventually going to break out. All right, so that'll.
When we had a big Christmas tree, you'd go up and shake it, and I'm not exaggerating, like 20 mozzies would jump off it because we live near a creek, so there must be a lot of mozzies. So we had to change the tree we got because of that.
Cause even more fires, but the water will. That's going to be a major thing for the entire earth.
As these things are happening, folks, we got Mike around the world with us tonight. If you're first time joining with us, and we're going through a litany of things that are happening. We've just had a 6.7 earthquake that has hit Japan, and I was just reading the updates on that. It looks like a 5.5 aftershock. So here we go again. And Mike, we also had a 7.0 earthquake this week in Alaska, and a lot of earthquakes. What's going on up there?
It's a tectonic shifting. Alaska might have some more eruptions. You got to remember in that area, in that parallel, there were eruptions, and we had the Russian eruptions, right?
Yes.
Alaska's not out of the picture. They still have tectonic movements. So the Earth is shifting big time, big time. And we're talking about something that, it's not like anybody's going to stop it. The best that we can do is make people aware of it. To let them know, to do their homework to find out where these danger spots are. Because Pastor, when it begins to consume too many lives, unfortunately, that's when people will start to pay attention.
Yeah.
They won't do it before that.
Not till it comes down their street.
Yep, that's right.
Well, here's something that's coming down people's street. Now, I want to be very careful. We're on YouTube, but I'm just going to throw this out, Mike, and you'll know how to handle it. They are hundreds of people being quarantined in South Carolina.
I'll tell you, Di, didn't we dodge a bullet with that vax? Good on us. We were so smart to see through that.
Yeah.
Over the measles outbreak. And this is interesting because these are forced quarantines. What's taking place here?
They've had that problem all year. All year long, they've had that problem. In South Carolina, they had the first reports of the measles in schools. I believe that was February, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the argument in the healthcare system that was a big issue. Here's the problem: there's a huge lack of knowledge, and people continue to argue over things they may not know about. So, I want everybody to do this. Number one, I made this statement before during COVID-19. Of course, everybody was so consumed by it they couldn't hear. So I'm going to say it again. All the ingredients for vaccines.
Didn't we indeed, Di?
Public knowledge, because they had some hearings over this. Pastor Paul is why people need to search for it. All the ingredients for vaccines has been sold in the stores in regular food for over 50 years.
So it's already, the food that we've consumed is already,
yes,
we were basically immune because of what we've eaten.
This Christmas, give the perfect gift from Snapfish. Fantastic photo gifts that celebrate your special moment.
They had court hearings, they had Senate hearings, and they tried to get the manufacturers to label the food, right? Label the food that had these ingredients in them. And well, that didn't work out too well, right?
Yeah.
Then they passed a bill, because you'll look on a lot of foods now and you'll see bioengineered.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of it's bioengineered, which means the ingredients for the vaccines are in there, because they know that people are not going to become vaccinated to these secret experiments, so to speak, they used to have a long time ago. But once you consume those foods, right, there's RNA. They already figured RNA out. That's in a vaccine too. So they go in there and start changing what's in your body, right?
And that's
by a person eating standard foods. And unfortunately, they had a big hearing because some of those same ingredients were thrust up into the atmosphere. And that means when it rains, it doesn't matter where you plant a garden. if the rain is contaminated, well, then so is your plant life. And when I say contaminated, that means the rain contains genetically modified organisms.
Yeah, GMOs. Something.
Well, look at that bodgy fog that's hitting everywhere in America. It's not a real fog.
And isn't it funny that 10 years ago, I'll say 10, 12 years ago, when we started talking about GMOs online, they said we were conspiracy theorists. When we talked about chemtrails, they said that's conspiracy theories. Now it's common knowledge that chemtrails have been going on for about 25 or 30 years. And yes, genetically modified food has been going on for, I don't know, 20, 25, 30, 40 years. So we're not conspiracy theorists. So now every time we bring up the next level, 6G, or we bring up the next thing that's coming, we're not conspiracy theorists. We have people that work and live in these industries, and they work for these big, whether it be pharmaceutical companies or whether they be big food or, all of the different big, I'm calling them, that's why I'm writing a book, The 10 Kings of Revelation, Trump versus the Beast, because I want to explain the 10 massive categories that are really ruling the planet. So, Mike, if that's all there, people are going to need to start trusting God for healing and for direction of where to get their food sources. I mean, how is this going to work?
That's right. It's very simple. If let's say a person has no choice but to go to the store, it's okay. And the Lord already said that nothing will by any means hurt you when you belong to Him. Pray over your food, right?
Yep.
Pray over your food that you'll be strengthened to do the Lord's work. Have a purpose behind your prayers, right? Don't just thank Him because the steak is good, but thank Him that you can be nourished to go out and do this, that, and the other. And if you can make choices, then God has given you the responsibility to make those choices.
Yep.
It's a very simple rule. God won't tie our shoes, right? He's not going to come down and tie our shoes.
No.
Because He's empowered us to tie our own shoes. But whatever we do not have the power to do, the Lord will see that nothing harms us through it.
So,
right? He'll see it. We just
He'll cover us in the areas that we can't cover ourselves.
That's right.
But He'll also inform us and give us the ability to discern, and we need to,
That's right.
The Lord helps them to help themselves. Okay, so
That's right.
we got to do our part, and He'll do the rest. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, because He's given us, if He has given a person resources to go out and get a health program, this, that, and the other, then it's their responsibility to do the right thing and do that.
Yeah.
But if they don't have the resources, don't panic. Do what you can do with what God has given you to do with.
Right.
And He'll cover whatever you can't cover.
Yeah, I like that. That's great advice. And so that means don't panic. I like what you said there. Have faith, guys, instead of fear. Live your life with faith. Don't live in fear. Read Psalms 91, as we've been preaching now for a long time, telling people, pray that prayer. Do your best, as you said, Mike. Do the very best you can to be as healthy as you can with what you've got.
Yeah, that's Seracle as well. I'm on that as well, Bobo.
And then trust God for the rest of it.
That's right.
Because the Bible says that you can, if you have to eat or drink deadly poison, it won't hurt you. What that means is if the food is being contaminated or the water, trust God, okay? Do your best. But
Bobo, I'm on 300 milligrams of I can't say it properly, quinine. I'm on 300 mils of that. I can't get medical marijuana because of it.
Trust God.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Mike. Now, Mike, okay, so you've opened a can of worms here tonight when you talked about sinkholes and the volcanism and the earth is shaking and the tectonic plates are definitely moving. Can we go up into the heavens then? You did mention the sun and solar flares, but can we go up into the heavens and talk about Atlas, talk about Planet X or binary system? Because that Bible does say, God said, I'm going to shake the earth.
Guys, when I turned Christian, I was spiritually attacked and ended up in a psych ward, but I didn't know what was happening to me. It was because I was getting spiritually hassled by Satan, but I didn't realize that at the time. So that's how I ended up in a psych ward.
And even the fish in the sea but I'm going to shake the heavens also. Can you talk
Nah.
about that?
Well, first of all, that means up until for a long time, everything has been stable, right?
Yep.
It's been stable. To shake the heavens is
Yeah, Diane, it's a good sleeper. Serical's a good sleeper. That's the only reason I stay on it. It's not like benzos and that. It's from the psych family of drugs, and the psych family of drugs. You don't like to get stoned on the psych drugs because they're crappy stones. But yeah,
is to allow it to go out of order. You know, a Pashball, not too many people may have read
I doubt withdrawal just like heroin. I doubt that very much, mate.
the Book of Enoch,
Right.
but and all books of Enoch are not authentic. But there's a part in there where in the Book of Enoch, when Enoch was actually learning things, and of course he had to interpret things in his own understanding, but he said there would come a time when the angels would abandon their posts, right? By
Yep.
order of God, they would abandon their post. In other words, all things they held stable, right? Because angels have a mission to keep the heavens stable. All the forces, you know, in action, but there will come a time when they will abandon their post.
Okay.
They'll be pulled back from them, which means God's order will not be over these things anymore. And I always think about that because you talk to a statistician and they'll say, well, it's a one in a million chance that we're hit by something big. Well, not according to what's being seen in space. It's almost like a 1 in a million chance.
Anything with pain in the name of the medication, it's usually a psych drug.
Is that we're not hit every single day we're here, right?
Wow.
It's just too much stuff flying
Too
by
much
here.
debris.
And how is it barely missing us? How are their orbits at such a at such a degree that it just misses us? No, that's not by chance. And they know, like the moon, for example. Why is the moon making micro adjustments?
Yeah, why is that? I mean, help me understand that.
They put lasers on the moon. They can measure this. They know it's making micro adjustments, and no matter what hits the moon, it will restabilize itself. That is not inertia. Those are not natural forces.
When something hits the moon, it rings like a bell for a few hours.
So it's the supernatural hand of God.
Yeah, so something whether God has, we don't know fully how God has ordered what he could have some things in there keeping it stable, or by his authority is being held. But there's a time when by his authority things will not be held in store, right?
Yeah,
and it just so happens that's when in the Book of Enoch it states that a person will look up and the stars will appear drunken.
Yes.
Well, that rings a bell.
That really does. And Isaiah 24 says the earth is even going to reel and rock like a drunken man.
And how would a person perceive that?
I don't know.
The only way a person could perceive that is the stars being out of alignment. And if we do perceive that, then the earth is shaking and quaking big time, which means we're not going to maintain our orbit.
Yep.
Right. We're going to be knocked out of orbit.
And you've been saying that Mars is going to get knocked out of orbit at some point.
Oh, yeah. We already have a devastator inside the solar system, but that's not public knowledge. One of the planets is thought of by most of the great minds to have collided with Earth twice.
What is would you call it a devastator?
Yeah, a devastator. One of the planets
is
thought to have collided with Earth twice. And no, that's not going to be public knowledge. That's their...
That's where that Van Allen belt comes from, I think.
Personal. That's their mathematics speech. That's what they believe. They have no other conclusion but that. And these are guys who run the math on the orbits of the planets. Because believe it or not, the math does not work.
The math is not
mathematical computations of orbits, it doesn't work. They have to compensate. They have to change the small little variables in there from time to time. Some of the constants have to be changed until you put in the real modeling. Then when you put in the real modeling, all of a sudden you don't like what you see.
Are you nervous about it? They have to adjust the GPS.
Hey, Dave, good to see you, bro.
Daily, don't they? I mean, Just a little bit.
Yeah, that's the Air Force's job.
Yeah. Okay.
That's who owns the GPS system.
Musk.
Air Force.
Air
Yeah.
Force. Okay.
Yeah.
Space Force, Air Force. Let me ask you though. We have to do that. Are you worried? Are you a little nervous about all these cars and trucks that are going to be driving on their own based on the GPS alignment? Are you a little nervous?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't see how that's going to be a safe.
Kai,
Well, if you know how they
Never
work,
said-
right? How one of these, like Wemo, for example, and the system of redundancy inside. That with AI, granted, I know a lot of people are afraid of AI, but with AI, it will increase
what are we
the
doing for
accuracy,
dinner?
and it will increase
I think
or
they got chicken
decrease
and ham
any
and
type of accidents that they
I was
have.
thinking of
There's
Chinese.
companies
Get
out there that
duck.
have been running autonomous vehicles
that one you
for
got
this is
before.
year
No, the one
12.
across from the.
Believe it or not, this is a
I'll
12
pay
year,
for it.
It's unbelievable.
Tell them before
which
that all
means nobody's
over,
controlling it.
before they get
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
They are
you suggest it and
autonomously
see
running.
how it goes
Before
down.
that, they had tractor trailers that were running up and down the highways autonomously.
That's crazy.
The problem is they require two things: LiDAR, right? They require LiDAR, and
Yeah.
they require some type of external positioning geometry. If either one of those two breaks down, it's over.
Hey,
Can you
And
tell
now, not to
it's,
mention
the
the
Chinese
internal
shop doing
program,
the pizzas
right?
now.
And the hardware must
Why are we
be
doing? What are you talking about?
flawless.
I just,
Can you tell me what LiDAR is?
Went over my head.
LiDAR is like a think of LiDAR as a
in other
spinning
words, I was
radar.
thinking
right?
pizza.
Think
Oh.
of it as a
I just need
If
a
you're Chinese,
babe. I just need a
right, you
car.
pointed at something, you can tell you how far it is away. Now imagine that same thing spinning at high RPM.
Okay.
So then a 360-degree view of everything around it, so it can
Okay.
give you an image of everything around it, a digital image based on the distance of every single object.
So,
Now they have
Mark,
increased the resolution,
Sorry.
which means
Well, if
you're not keen on
suppose you have
Chinese?
I was just
a
telling you,
swarm of bugs
we'll
out
do
there, right?
Chinese.
If the
So
resolution
if we
is
do
high enough,
Chinese,
then
I don't
LiDAR
like
can
prawns
actually
and
tell you the
all that stuff.
distance of
Why we
each
don't
bug
ham and salad?
every
Why are we doing
2 or 3
Chinese?
milliseconds.
I've got
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, which means that vehicle
She's got
can
an
effectively
animal
see,
already.
Okay.
and it
All
can
right.
So I was going
at
to
a
grab
pretty good range.
prawns.
Yeah.
And
Most cars today
few
have
other bits
LiDAR,
and
not
pieces.
spinning, but stationary.
Yeah.
Some have stationary,
give him some
but
other
that's
food.
essentially how they do it.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
You can get a LiDAR
there's the
for
list. You
$169.
can just add whatever. it
Not a
is.
You go
spinning,
buy
not
one.
a spinning one, but
Yeah, a spinning one. You can buy a
Okay.
spinning LiDAR for $169.
Okay.
You can buy the other electronics for about $34, and it can actually run your car. You can actually make your own car autonomous for a grand price of about under $150. No kidding.
that's unbelievable. Nobody, I had no clue about that. And
That's the technology that's out there now.
all right,
And
so
their kids know how to do this.
let me ask you another question. Okay, the kids know how to do this. Now we're getting ready. We're going to be in the day of the humanoids or the robots that are.
Vast. I'm pretty sure the American Indians called it the blue Katrina because it had blue flares coming off it. I'm talking about Nibiru.
Going to be in people's homes, like the Jetsons cartoon. Rosie's coming, and is going to pour your coffee and fold the laundry and
Right.
wash. How? And I know this is soon. I know it's close. And
Olivia, just remember, the Hyundai Tucson is an offer from $39,999.
A new generation slingshot, carefully crafted by a Berlin arms factory, more accurate than a pistol and legally ownable without any permits, compatible with steel balls, stones, or darts, and able to effortlessly hit any target within 200 meters without practice. This new style slingshot went viral as soon as it launched. Made entirely of tungsten steel so it never rusts.
Man, I want one of them, but I bet they wouldn't make it in Australia. They'd outlaw this. I want one of them slingshots. They look so cool. Oh, I got to turn down.
I hate to tell you this, but for some households, it's already happened.
yeah, some of the
In other words,
yeah.
you have households right now, Pastor Paul, where they do have an autonomous robot in that house helping them out.
So some
Here's how it works.
Pretty
Here's
well.
how it works.
Yeah.
When they first bought the system, there is a person, right, running a virtual system. So they're essentially standing up in a type of
Diane, I'll order that slingshot gun. Then I'll order one of them puppies that are so-called puppies, but they look real. And I'll shoot them. I'll shoot them with the slingshot and see what's inside of them.
Or certain position.
Okay.
And as they do a task in the home, the robot learns how to do it hands-on.
Okay.
Right? So then that person only has to do a task maybe twice. They're hired to do this, by the way. Once it learns
That
all
is
those
a-
different
yeah.
tasks,
It is, isn't it, Di?
learned it.
It starts
And
doing
that person who was actually doing it at first can go away and go train another one. While the customer is happy with their little robot.
Yeah.
Yet there are being
So that's already happening. Let's say
it's happening.
some of the folks that's got a little bit more, deeper pockets are able to buy these things, and then the trainer comes, and the trainer starts showing the robot how to fold the clothes, how to hang them up on the hanger, how to sweep the floor, how to wash dishes,
Or load the dishwasher, whatever the case is.
and once it learns it, it watches someone do it, and once it learns it, then it can do it. And
The Chinese robots come along and say, "Me love you long time."
It's also learned it for all the robots out there. So imagine you have this one, you have 50 trainers, right?
Okay.
And all of them wash dishes. That's the only task they did. Each robot's going to learn of that one trainer, but every single robot will benefit from every single robot's training.
That's AI.
So it's exponential learning. So now when they make a new robot, they don't need a trainer.
I see.
Because it's already been trained. So it's a brain that continually evolves and learns and grows based off what everybody is doing.
So it's AI. It's an AI.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, Bobo.
As more of them are doing things and learning, all of them are doing
That's
things
right.
and learning. And after a while, and it can't be long. Now, at some point, they're going to mass produce these things to where I'm hearing it
The Atlas has changed colours a few times, Voss, which is interesting.
be $30,000 or whatever. It's going to become almost about affordable as a car is. Let's say a new car, and then everyone, you're going to see people buying them. And then I'm not talking about the wealthy. I'm talking about it will become a standard. Maybe in the next 5 to 10 years. Do you see?
It'll be an assignment. It'll be an assignment because I know it's already in the plans for everybody to have a companion. Number one, right?
Yeah, that's happening.
Now,
right
whether
now.
that companion is going to be part of their house, part of their personal everything.
Yeah.
Right. And so to put a body to that is, it's relatively cheap. AI can make a robot, by the way. AI has brought down the cost of manufacturing.
Yeah.
Because of the way it compiles or uses materials. So what used to cost 60 grand is only about, I believe they said $400 now. That's mind blowing. AI, right? With AI, what used to cost $60,000 to produce only has a cost of $400 now.
Because
of AI. Because that's how efficient it is. It wastes nothing, right? It's going to figure it out how to do it. So here we are.
Well, we've trained our people are training their companion. They've what's the little machine
Man, they're cool puppies if they're true, but they're not true.
in your house, and then you can
I bet in real life they just bend their head and bark like you wind them up.
talk to it, and it'll jump in the conversation. I forgot Alexa or something. But all of these gadgets are learning information, how we think, how even individually how we think, and then and they'll say, hey, you got a doctor's appointment this coming Thursday. Would you like me to call? Do you want me to change that? I mean, I could see a humanoid in your house calling and making appointments for you. Maybe just taking care of things of the way you would probably like it. Maybe it checks with you, maybe it don't, because it already knows how you are. I mean, we're going to be at that level, aren't we? Are these things dangerous? You think they're strong? They're going to be strong.
We can speak about, for example, right now, all these cloud-based interactors like Siri and Alexa you mentioned, and Gemini, right? All these devices are going to be tied in together under one umbrella.
Yeah.
But all of these devices know their users more than they could ever imagine. Right?
Yeah.
Wait, let's put it this way. Siri could replicate its user right now. In other words, you can have a person could disappear. Siri could carry on the traits and personalities and interactions of that person probably for years, and no one would ever know.
Wouldn't even know that they're
So
gone.
it already has the capability to learn everything about you. All these things do is collect data points. Artificial intelligence can take those data points, right? Then you have intelligible data that can be interpreted into some type of, social data, and that can be used to impersonate a person very easily.
Yeah, they can do your voice. They can do anything and everything now.
Yeah. So I give it until March, probably March, and huge announcements. People are going to be giving these huge announcements on the availability of things that will blow their mind. It's not going to take long because most of it's in.
Do you remember I called him that a couple of days ago? We were doing that James Bond joke, and I went, because I was thinking, what's the most un-James Bond name you could give? I was going to say Barry, but Peter worked out better, and it turns out Bobo's real name's Peter. Bond, Peter Bond.
Development right now.
So let's say March, April, there's going to be some announcements of some new technology or new gadgets or things.
Absolutely.
That's going to blow our mind.
Absolutely. If there's absolutely, we're going. It'll be like going from a corded, phone to a cordless phone, and overnight or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
And the devices already work.
Doesn't Mr. Pete live in a cabin and tend to cotton fields?
Yeah.
Right, they already work.
They already know they do. They're
They've made them. They're passing the they have to pass the FDA and FTC and all these different people to make sure that there's no instant damage to the person. But these companies have made these devices, kind of like some of these nuclear bricks that they have built. They actually made a nuclear brick. Imagine something the size of a brick that can run your entire corporation.
You're talking about, is it energy source?
Yes.
A
nuclear
what you're
brick.
calling a nuclear brick.
Yep.
It's a nuclear fusion
that can run your entire corporation.
That's crazy.
The
So
size of a brick.
now they're building these brains, or no. They're building these in massive facilities underground to collect all the data points. And there must be building this everywhere. And I don't know who's got the contract and who's got the jobs, but there's people doing it, right? They got to figure out how to keep it cool. I'm hearing that they're going to use a lot of silver because silver is cooler conductor than, let's say,
For some of the video processing methods they have, yes, right? But for some of the larger units, they're going to use a lot of water.
Yeah.
They're going to use reusable water, right? You build those things underground, believe it or not, it's not too hard to cool off.
Yeah.
These devices underground, you just have to eject the heat somewhere. It won't. The problem is not really cooling it. The problem is transferring the heat somewhere.
Okay.
You don't want to inject that in the atmosphere because if you do, they're going to superheat the earth.
Okay,
So-
now there's people in Memphis, Tennessee, who are saying that because Elon Musk has built 2 or 3 of these underground data centers, but he has to vent out whatever's going on down there. And now there's people in Memphis that are saying that they're getting sick from.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
What is it venting out? What?
Well, it's basically heat. You're looking at heat and carbon. Well, not carbon, but moisture in a very strange form. I think a lot of people are getting sick from the frequencies, believe it or not, from that constant vibration.
Yeah.
A low rumble that they hear, that can make you sick big time. It can make you nauseous. But all that heat that's generated from these turbines, it has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? It has to go somewhere. And so they're going to have to figure out something to get that heat down into the earth. The earth can use it, no problem. The earth can take all that heat, dissipate it, no big deal. But either way, they're going to have to get rid of it. That's going to be the biggest problem. Cooling it, because they're going to use the Gulf of America to cool a lot. You're not going to hear that much, but they're going to be pumping water. You don't have to contaminate the water either. Imagine just like a radiator. You pump water through a tube. That tube is coiled around some sort of hot device, right?
Yeah.
So as the water goes around it in a tube protected, it absorbs the heat and carries it away.
Yep.
And that's what happened with that. So it won't contaminate the water, but you're still going to have to
Have a lot
dissipate
of
that
water.
heat somewhere.
You got to have a
take
lot
that
of
heat
water.
somewhere.
Yeah, you got to it's got to go somewhere. It's going to be releasing heat, and and there's going to be so many of these. Now I hear, and I think it was Elon Musk even said that we may have to figure out a way to build these things to where they actually are in space. Much easier to keep them cool there.
Yeah, because mine is mine.
When I was a kid, I lived in Blacktown, but at Parramatta there was an old convict bridge, like it was built by the convicts, and it had tunnels in it. Like there was one brick missing at the bottom of the bridge, and if you went into it, there was tunnels. Well, we'd wag school of candles, and me and the guys and our girlfriends, we'd go up and hang in the tunnels all afternoon and make out and just do the things you do as a kid. But yeah, it was interesting.
Mine is 574 up there. If you keep them, out of sunlight or on the opposite side of sunlight, so that will do it. But if you have it in space, that's a
What's given, Lobo? Lobo, what is that?
Right? They can't do that. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
That's not going to work. For one, they know we're at a point, an inflection point, where the atmosphere is becoming highly unstable. There's too much debris out there headed our direction. They know that.
Okay.
They already know that. So I don't know what they're talking about that unless they do a low altitude type thing, which, by the way, also is dangerous. You don't want a power plant over your head.
No, I really don't feel good about that. It's bad enough to have it under my feet, but I sure don't want it over my head.
So that's going to push the main topic. You ready?
I'm ready.
That's going to push this disclosure stuff.
Let's talk about disclosure. I mean, when you say disclosure, are you talking about the asteroid meteorite cloud of debris that's coming, or are you talking
not that disclosure?
Are you talking about Planet X?
No, not that disclosure.
Are you talking about these little green men?
That disclosure.
Okay, let's talk about that.
That's going to push that.
Why is it going to push that? Can you help me understand why that would push these guys?
Okay, there are a lot of people that believe that there are a lot of people in the know, that they're recovered craft, right?
Yes.
Recovered technology.
Yes.
There's signed affidavits by people who cannot afford to risk their jobs, who have said that some of the technology that we have today is a direct result of what they have found and recovered.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There's a story I know for a fact that's been given out to people in detail. It's just that a lot of people don't believe it. I'll say that one more time. Now, I know this for a fact. I mean, beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's a story that's been given to people. It's available to people. And it's right there in front of people's faces. But it's not believed. It's not a short story either. It's a long story, but it's not believed. And if people were to become accustomed to that whole story would have to be disclosed. And so would some of the findings that are within that story would have to be disclosed, which means technology that they know how to utilize. For example, they know in these craft, they don't use electricity like we do. Bob Lazar introduced element 114 to the world a long time ago.
Yeah.
They called him a lunatic.
Yeah, I remember.
Only to come around and say element 114 is real. Right?
It's an exotic element that it's an alternate way of making energy. Am I right by saying that?
Yeah, it's like what is that element? Unobtainium or something like that. So they use that to generate the forces around the electromagnetic forces. So electricity would be the byproduct, not the main force of this, but the byproduct, the waste of this process that they use. Right? Now that part turns out to be real, which it is, because that's what CERN is doing right now. Right? Yeah. CERN works with electricity. They found out that these guys, electricity is a byproduct.
Bobo, I'll say this about our coppers in New South Wales. They're pretty straight. Like there's not many crooked coppers. They done a big royal commission, about 20 years ago and cleaned out all the dinosaurs. And now we've got a pretty clean police force. And what I mean by that is you get arrested for something, they don't load you up and say you confessed, and we used to call that a verbal. But that's what they do. They just lie on what you said. But now coppers are pretty clean now.
Or what they're working with.
Wow.
And they're going to figure that out. So Sterling's doing a good job at that. When they do this, that means that electricity will not be an issue for anybody.
No.
That means power plants are not going to be an issue for anybody. Right?
That means we're not
Because
going to need solar panels and windmills.
No, you're not going to need that stuff. They know that element, for example, element 114, they have run some tests.
Bobo, you're a prize shit stirrer, mate. You're funny, but
They have it has an on-demand type of property to it, which means whatever you need, it will begin to produce. It's as simple as that.
So Bob
if you need 1 watt, it's going to give you 1 watt. If you need 1 billion watts, it's going to give you 1 billion watts. Now think of an element like that functions like that. But
no, not here, Bobo. The Muslims aren't big enough that they can intimidate our cops.
Damn it.
In fact, we've got a branch of the police called the Middle East Organised Crime, and they go investigate all the Muslims. They don't get away with it here like they do in England. I think England's gone. I can't see how it can come back from that many Muslims in their country.
It's to the environment.
What's the kind of cost for this brick technology? It's a little nuclear. It's a fusion thing, right?
I don't know that part. But I know that it's affordable for everybody to use. But I think they'll even not be utilizing that. That's one thing with element 114. Once they produce it, which they have to out in space, that will begin to take over everything.
So Bob Lazar, is he the discoverer of the element 114, or
he's the one that told everybody, right? When he was doing when he first popped on the scene, and he was trying to let the people know, hey, they've got craft, and he was assigned to work on how the propulsion system worked. And he started talking about element 114. Nobody else, I mean, not one soul, talked about that element. Not one.
No.
In fact, they laughed at him. And come to find out, he was legitimate on payroll.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, you don't have somebody legit on payroll.
One-stop shop. What would you like to monitor?
Strippers and judges.
You bet. And then
Scientists.
What about farmers?
AI. Ping pong players.
Nice.
Cats without fur.
Can we get all the presidents? Even the dead ones. Oh, we're going to get Nixon.
At Hammond Care, we've been caring for people for more than 90 years. So if you need home care, dementia care, palliative care, call Hammond Care.
I knew that. Can't complain, I agree.
I thought this portable AC from 2 Aussie engineers was another scam. 3 months later, I haven't touched my split system once. It's called Breezemax, and it's nothing like those clunky portable units you've seen before. This thing cools any room in 90 seconds flat.
Cool this one.
And them not be a legit person.
Right.
So as the years began to turn, they came out and put all those elements on the periodic table. And element 114 is on there with the properties he described back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So so that tells you right there he was involved in something with exotic materials. So that makes him and Corso and some of these other guys, it's some way truthful what they were saying, right?
Right.
Which means they have power sources on the earth that are limitless. They're limitless, right?
Okay.
And if people found that out, how many people would be upset?
They'd be very upset with the high utility bills we were paying when they could have all been eliminated.
That's right. It also gives credence to why people die who have absolutely figured out how to make vehicles run from water.
Yeah, I know.
All of them are dead.
I know that.
The guy that took a teaspoon of gasoline and he actually ran an engine 6,000 miles. Right? You're talking about that engine was 600 some horsepower. That long of a teaspoon of gasoline, and he's dead. The guy that had the inversion generator, he's dead, right? So all these guys are dead. They're gone. They were killed. All of them killed.
They were all killed. They had to kill them.
mysteriously.
They had to kill
All
them because
dead.
they would have ruined the automobile
Power.
industry.
Baby, I got my cousin and an old man up here now for Christmas. We're opening the presents later on. Other than that, Christmas Day, I'm not sure what we're doing.
Yeah, well, that's Power and Industry, right?
Yeah.
Power and Industry is the most powerful organization in the U.S. government, Russian government, all governments. They will not allow anybody to mess with their that's their main source of relevancy, right? That's how they own the world, is through oil,
Yes.
fossil fuels,
Yes.
things.
Baby, I got 2 of them mobility scooters. One's for the shops because it's small and I can pack it in the car, and the other one's just to get around down to the shops on. And I charge them up, and me and my cousin, we go around the neighbourhood tonight and check out the Christmas lights in the houses. We have a good time doing it too, because we have a few drinks and do it.
That nature.
Well, the petrodollar, our dollar.
There's not many houses that have put Christmas ornaments up this year, probably because of the electricity bills.
Dollar is basically called the petrodollar off oil. Yeah.
Yeah, they run that, and so they want to keep that going. If anybody introduces anything that will cause an efficiency rating of about 50% more for a battery, for a car, for anything like that,
They end up dead.
they're not gonna have that. And before you have to patent something like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Guess who reads? Guess who investigates those patents? They do. Power and Industry.
Well, then there's no way.
So they're gatekeepers,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
If they come out with this UFO story,
Yep.
and they start talking about power plants, people are going to be upset. They're going to say, why are we still paying for power?
Right.
Then you'll have a revolt.
It's
So
coming.
they have to control the information.
So disclosure though is coming. Disclosure is
But
coming.
it'll be,
Will it be a deception?
I do not expect them to disclose the truth. I don't see how they can do that and still keep up their little game. What they're doing right now in the world is a foolish game. Pastor Paul, really is. It's a very foolish game.
Here's a headline. This is today. Now, this was December 9th. Trump knows the truth. Alien hybrids are living among us. And Donald Trump knows it. Whistleblowers and ex-U.S. Air Force major is claiming.
Well, what can he do?
He did say Hillary Clinton's double, and he actually said her double's a nicer person. So somehow Hillary Clinton's the double. I think it's cloning.
What can he do? Is right. I mean, he just comes out and says and it says in the article says that there will be a time when he will walk out and disclose to the world what's really going on, and he is the most what's it called him? He'll be the most consequential leader in the history of the world by revealing to the public what's really been hidden.
What will that do, though?
It won't do
What will
anything.
that do?
It won't do anything.
What will that? You're going to have a bunch of people who are going to protect their kingship and try to almost kill him instantly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think another narrative is taking place, though, actually. I think that the governments have been given a timeline, a deadline, so to speak. Now, this is funny. This is curious, Pastor Paul, because back in 1995, I remember conversations that took place and said that all governments had to follow a narrative of a deadline to have peace by a specific date. And it was somewhere in the 2000s, in the mid-2000s. But peace had to be established first, and everybody had to sit down at one table because they were going to make an introduction anyway. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they said a war was coming. That's why a war was coming. Two factions of whatever, the make-up people, right? And that humanity would have to be introduced regardless.
So, and everybody's pushing to this 2030 date. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. They call it global sustainability, but every industry is saying we have to get this all done by 2030. I don't know if that's the date you're talking about, or maybe it's 2045 or whatever, but
It's very strange.
Yeah. Why would everybody be focused on getting to a 2030? You got everything done. I don't care. It could be the UN that says it. The European Union says it. The World Economic Forum says it. The U.S. government, the Pentagon says it. I mean, why is everybody got to get everything done by this date, by this certain time? Could that be when they're going to sit down at the table and?
Well, I tell you what. I think all things, most things are set for deadline pass on realistically for 2027. Right?
Yeah, that's another date I'm hearing.
All things have to be in place by 2027, and it just seems like things are being really compressed, like Venezuela.
Yeah,
that could have been done differently, but there's a rush in getting everybody leveled out.
Wow.
AI could have been done differently, but there's a rush to get AI installed everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And we know AI is a control system for information.
Yes, it is.
Which means if somebody came out with a narrative that whoever's controlling parts of AI didn't want the world to hear, they could change it on the fly. So they could always control the narrative. Looks like the control system is being put in place so that people cannot, so that information can be controlled perfectly. And they can use it, or they want to use it.
They're going to use it to control the world. I mean, it's.
Well, you know what? Speaking realistically, though, I hate to say this.
Okay.
The world is fully out of control right now. If you think about it, this world is fully out of control. We live in a type of illusion. I know it's a long story, but think about something. People cannot do whatever they want to do. They do what they're given room to do.
That's true.
And that's all they do.
That's true. Yes.
They have to utilize whatever avenue somebody presents to them, right?
Yep.
It's not like we don't make our own hammers. We're given a hammer. Somebody says, use that hammer, right? Use that tool. Use this to do this. And we're told of a list of things we can do.
Yep.
So we're already under control, right? Already.
Yeah.
And it's so mystic that when we're growing up, we don't even know it, but we enforce that same control mechanism. We enforce upon our children, not even knowing that we're keeping them within the confines of a control system.
This is so
because
true.
we teach them, don't.
Yeah, Diane, he's red hot, isn't he? He even has guests at his webinars that are dead. Wow, this guy's something else, isn't he?
Do this and don't do that. And it just so happens that even our ideologies are controlled ideologies.
Yeah. Well, if you want
That's
to
why I
fly,
love the word of thing.
you want to fly on an airplane, they'll tell you if you can get in this plane or not.
There you go.
They'll tell you when the plane's going to leave. You can get on the plane, even sit in the tarmac, and they'll say, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be here for about another hour. And what are you going to do? So, and by the way, you go anywhere you want in society, you stand in a single line, right? It's the rule. Everybody.
Yes.
We are conditioned and programmed.
We are.
Without even knowing it.
We are.
Yeah.
We teach our kids what to believe and what not to believe.
Yeah.
That's why I love the Word of God, right? Because nothing in the Word of God complements anything in the world.
No.
I find that out more and more every single day.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
The world is, it is something else. Having said that, I believe that already man is
He's a scumbag, isn't he, Di? He's red hot, this guy. Look at him.
Side of a type of delusion that they believe it's real, which is why every time they read the Bible, they have a contradiction with the world. And every time they get into the world, they have a contradiction with the Bible.
Mm-hmm. It's like oil and water. They don't mix.
Yeah.
Mike, this has been a really fascinating show. It's really been good. And, I've learned a lot here. I'm sure the audience has too. And so, again, it comes down to you have to get your mind centered on the Lord. You need to know what the Bible says. You need to stay focused and learn discernment. You gotta watch everything you're doing. But at the same time, you don't live in fear. You live in faith. You know the King is coming, but we got to occupy till he comes, and just stay the course. I mean, it really comes down to that, right?
It does. Pastor, you said one thing too. Fear.
Fear.
I got a challenge for everybody.
Okay.
Somehow, we have to encourage each other not to make decisions out of fear, because every decision that we've made thus far as a nation has been out of fear.
Yeah.
Every decision has been fear-based. Somehow we need God's intervention to change that, because nothing is going to work that way. And it's not working so well that way.
Yeah, you're right. Everything it's almost like our entire governmental structure operates off the fear of what could happen here and happen there. So that things are put in place to live off the fear instead of the faith. Yeah. Well, that's a big one.
That's my 2 cents.
That's a big one. Okay, Mike, thank you so much tonight. It's been a pleasure tonight. Really is. It's been really.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Sometimes great value just stares you in the face.
This is how you protect your house and family from dangerous intruders. This new subscription-free mini Wi-Fi camera
into Europe. And the courts tell the American people they're not allowed to have what they voted for.
Where is your vision for the next 50 years? Muslims living in Britain and Muslims living in Canada.
This is where the people will stand up. This is where the people will stand strong. Europe needs 1.35 billion migrants to be imported into Europe.
The reform policy is to deport all illegal immigrants in the UK within 5 years.
Japan would need over 500 million migrants.
If you're in this country illegally, you will be deported back to the country from which you came. Over 170,000 people have arrived in this country illegally since 2018.
The response is to try to silence and shut down their own citizenry.
The UN admits that migration can't solve the problem, though.
Kind of a 100-year plan, and we're 50 years in.
Correct.
So yeah, they want a new order. It's like they're preparing for something, ...
It's people who haven't assimilated into European societies who are driving cars into Christmas festivals.
Replacement migration. Is it a solution to declining and aging population?
They're coming from Syria, they're coming from Afghanistan, they're coming from Iraq, they are coming from Iran.
Officially needing migration to offset population decline.
So Khan needs to be concerned about himself.
And here's where it gets pretty weird, because they give these scenarios.
I believe we should have at least 3 prime ministers in the next 50 years.
The total number of migrants is 12.6 million, or 251,000 per year.
No respect for women.
Yeah.
They have a completely different view of women, and it always fascinates me that
these numbers are huge numbers. These numbers are absolutely insane.
What are you doing? Great.
I mean, and this has come directly out of the United Nations. Remember that.
Where's your son?
This may be one of the most serious videos I have ever made. Because remember in my previous video, I said I had found a document that is from a huge organization, and it pretty much explains what is going on in the world today and why it might be going on in the world today. Well, that organization is the UN, the United Nations. And this document here is an official document from the UN called Replacement Migration. Yeah, this is on www.un.org. But for anybody doubting that what I'm about to show you is official and is literally from their website, here is the website that I'm getting it from. I'm going to click the link, www.un.org, and boom, we are on the document, okay? Now, when we read through this, there are some very important notes that I took when I went through it myself. And I want to just read you those notes before we go through the document together, okay? These are some key points. The UN literally uses the term replacement migration. Okay, you see here, this is their language. They are the ones calling for this. They are the ones who wrote this. Replacement migration. Is it a solution to declining and aging populations? Now, here's another one of the major notes that I took. Europe and Japan are apparently facing large population collapse. And to keep the working population stable, they claim that Europe needs 161 million immigrants to be imported into Europe. Now, does that remind you of anything that we have witnessed happening recently in the UK, in France, in Germany, in Spain, in Sweden, and even recently, America? But let's keep going. And this video is for people who really care about the facts, who want to know the deeper information and want to study what is actually taking place, not just be entertained, okay? So if that's you, keep watching, keep listening, because we're going to get into some very interesting figures here. Now, this note here, to me, it seems to be a disclaimer. The designations employed in the presentation of the material in this publication do not imply the expression of any opinion whatsoever on the part of the Secretariat of the United Nations concerning the legal status of any country, city, or area, or of its authorities, or concerning the delimitation of its frontiers or boundaries. So yeah, it's basically a disclaimer. Now we're going to go through this document, okay, and we're going to focus on the key points, but I want to read you this quick note that I have here as well. Apparently, according to this document, which we will get to keep the elderly ratio stable, Europe needs 1.35 billion migrants to be imported into Europe. From where? And apparently this is an impossible number, but that is what they state. Japan would need over 500 million migrants. The UN admits that migration can't solve the problem though, so...
The Muslims won't work though. They just won't work. They just come and sponge off the governments.
What exactly is going on here? And apparently, governments must restructure society to handle the aging crisis. So yeah, they want a new order. Sound familiar? Okay, so let's go through the document now, and I'll skip to the points where the very important information is found, because it was a very long document. It was a pretty boring document, and it's kind of interesting how the next language after English is Arabic, right? Yeah, very interesting that. Okay, now let's get to the start of the document, okay? Page 19. Because the rest of it was just, I believe, the disclaimer and the other information in different languages. And it states, replacement migration. Is it a solution to declining and aging population? United Nations Population Division Executive Summary. And this is the part here where they pretty much define the document as officially needing migration to offset population decline. And let's go through it. The United Nations Population Division monitors fertility, mortality, and migration trends for all countries of the world. As a basis for producing the official United Nations population estimates and projections, among the demographic trends revealed by those figures, two are particularly salient: population decline and population aging. Focusing on these two striking and critical trends, the present study addresses the question of whether replacement migration is a solution to declining and aging populations. Replacement migration refers to the international migration, international migration that would be needed to offset declines in the size of population, the declines in the population of working age, as well as to offset the overall aging of a population. Now, when you read this, it's pretty insane, because we're witnessing something happen across Europe, and it seems to line up with this type of theory, right? And I mean, I don't really believe in COVID.
Thank you, Vest. Sorry, Vest. Divorced. You're funny, baby.
Incidences. And it's pretty shocking, to be honest. But here is where it gives some statistics and estimates. It says, according to the United Nations population projections, median variant, Japan and virtually all the countries of Europe are expected to decrease in population size over the next 50 years. Now, has anybody come across the Islamist long-term 50-year plan?
Muslims living in Britain, and Muslims living in Canada, Muslims living in Australia, Muslims living in the Muslim lands. Where is your vision for the next 50 years? We can have a global vision and we can have a local vision. I believe we should have at least 3 prime ministers in the next 50 years, right? In Britain and in Canada. This is the solution. This is going to...
Look at his stupid hat. What an idiot. Look at that hat.
Towards revival.
Man, take that hat off. You look like a goose.
Of the Muslim Ummah.
I want to see the whole world led by a just Khalifa. And there's no shame in saying this.
Where they claim that within
Okay, the one on the right's been eating a few camels, I think.
50 years, they would be able to have a higher population than the natives of the European countries by simply coming to Europe now and having more children than the native population.
Kind of a 100-year plan, and
Correct.
we're 50 years in.
Correct.
What's the worst case scenario?
It does.
50 years.
It looks
So,
like a
Jordan-
pie tin upside down, doesn't it, Di?
Has banned the Muslim Brotherhood. The UAE has banned the Muslim Brotherhood. Our leaders, for 2 pieces of silver, have sold out our basic values. And because the radical left wants to get rid of Western hegemony, the Islamists who want to destroy Western hegemony have this bizarre common cause. We call it the Red Green Alliance, to destroy their own country, their own culture. And it's terrifying.
What would it take to make them start to listen?
We are sleeping through the revolution. It's time for us to wake up.
And now we literally can read an official United Nations document which states that their own projections state that Europe will decrease in population size over the next 50 years. And it says, for example, the population of Italy, currently 57 million, is projected to decline to 41 million by 2050. The Russian Federation is expected to decrease from 147 million to 121 million between 2000 and 2050. Now, is it just me, or was it a few years ago where a lot of the world leaders were talking about overpopulation, right? But now, according to this official document from the UN, populations in Europe are going down. So what exactly is going?
That's a good pickup.
On. Similarly, the population of Japan, currently 127 million, is projected to decline to 105 million by 2050. Okay, and it goes on to give a lot of statistics about a lot of different places. But ultimately, apparently, Italy is dropping from 57 to 41, Japan 127 to 105, Russia from 147 to 121. And here's where it gets pretty weird, because they give these scenarios, right? Scenario 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then they give this chart where it basically explains the country, the median variant with zero migration, and the constant total population. And this is the part that I want everybody to pay attention to and really take in, because this is the important part, in my opinion, right? This is the amount of people that they would want to migrate every year in order to achieve what they are talking about in this document. Except for the United States, the numbers of migrants needed to maintain the size of the total population, scenario 3, are considerably larger than those assumed in the median variant of the United Nations projections. Okay, now here are the numbers. In Italy, for example, the total number of migrants is 12.6 million, or 251,000 per year in scenario 3 versus 0.3 million or 6,000 per year. In scenario 1 for the European Union, the respective numbers are 47 million versus 13 million. Either way, right? These numbers are huge numbers. These numbers are absolutely insane. Now, I've already gone through this document myself and collected the statistics, so I'll just read my notes so you don't have to read every detail here. But basically, for the EU, you would need 674 million migrants to keep the support ratio stable, apparently. Japan, 524 million migrants, and Italy would need 6,500 immigrants per million inhabitants every year. Okay? Insane. Like, this is crazy. Where are these immigrants going to come from? Where are they going to come from? Are they going to come from cultures that are completely different from Italy, from the United Kingdom, from Japan? Most likely, right? And recently, if you take a look at a lot of the news coming out of Japan, they are talking out against the massive amounts of immigration that has taken place.
One day, you're going to recount grand tales of glory in the arena.
The person who invented this mobile phone holder is so smart. No matter what kind of mobile phone it is, it will be automatically clamped.
Something's taking place here. Something very, very big, in my opinion. Now, if you understand charts and you just take a quick glance at this one right here, you see how insane these numbers actually are, right? This is the average annual net number of migrants between 2000 and 2050 to maintain size of working age population per million inhabitants in 2000, okay? So France, just under 2,000. Germany, 6,000. Italy, 6,500 about. Japan, about 5,050 or 5,100. These numbers are absolutely huge. I mean, and this has come directly out of the United Nations. Remember that. This isn't just some random PDF. This is the United Nations PDF file. So page 22 is basically just like a summary of the entire PDF, but it's just unreal that this actually exists. When I came across it, I was shocked. I believe someone may have sent it to me or I came across it somehow, but yeah, unreal. Unreal. And yet people such as this are pretty much thrown under the bus by mainstream media when they make statements like this.
The reform policies deport all illegal immigrants in the UK within 5 years. So that would be I mean, these are real people. That would be someone like you. And that's what you're saying, right?
If you are in this country illegally, let me be crystal clear. If Nigel Farage is our next Prime Minister, and that's obviously what we're working to deliver, if you're in this country illegally, you will be deported back to the country from which you came. Over 170,000 people have arrived in this country illegally since 2018. Most of that work was done by the Tories, sadly, and that is more people than arrived on the beaches of Normandy on D-Day. I've used the word invasion before, and people might object to that term, but the dictionary
Hey, Andrew, good to see you.
Invasion is an unwanted incursion into a space of land. And I don't know what to describe it. 170,000 people arriving. By the way, what are the countries from which they are coming? They're coming from Syria. They're coming from Afghanistan. They're coming from Iraq. They are coming from Iran. Not countries that have a track record of having Britain's interests at heart. The British state exists to serve the British people.
Now, you heard those numbers, right? 170,000 since 2018. I'm pretty sure those are hitting the numbers from that United Nations document or over. So something very strange is going on, in my opinion. And it seems that people who speak out against this are labeled as Islamophobic.
Phil, I didn't see you there. Hi, mate. Good to see you.
As bigots, as racists. And that seems to be by design at this point, because the majority of people who I have heard speaking out against this, who are simply quoting facts, quoting statistics, and are worried about the future of their children's safety, are not racist. They're not bigots. They're not Islamophobes, quote unquote, whatever that means. And for some reason, these people are completely demonized because they simply want to share information that is factual objectively, and they have genuine concerns. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. And remember to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already done so. It greatly helps out the channel and it's free for you to do. Now, we have a lot more to go through. Rupert Lowe, who is probably one of the boldest MPs, members of parliament in the United Kingdom, had this to say.
It's not only Epping that's having a hotel filled full of, Charlie says, of working age men with no respect for our culture, no respect for women. They have a completely different view of women. And it always fascinates me that the Me Too movement, who seems to sort of, as we say, have this healthy dislike of white male men, who I now think are being sort of beaten into a pulp. And as a result of that, we haven't got many men being allowed to be men, which is a tragedy. And we post about that a lot. But I don't see any evidence of them actually being consistent in following through when these men with a completely different view of the female role, they say nothing and do nothing, and they're silent. And I think their silence is damning.
And he has an incredible point there, right? He's talking about Islamic women who are literally subjugated, and why the left never speaks out about this, even when those women are crying out for help, even when those women are saying that they're being unfairly treated by Sharia courts that are operating in the United Kingdom. There is evidence for this, and the left stays silent. And it's right, their silence is damning. But why are they silent? Well, it's because the left are being used by the Islamists. This is very obvious. They see the left as weak because they are. They're very weak. They're very embarrassing. They don't actually have a backbone. They're basically a bunch of people who...
And thus, that black cube they march around at Mecca, that's from a pagan god as well. Everything about Islam is pagan.
Don't really think for themselves. They can't really critically think. They're normally followers, and they're all just following after this ideology that doesn't make sense. And when one of their so-called allies, Islam, is doing something that they're supposed to be against, they don't know what to do, because the confrontational programming that has been placed upon them, that has told them, hey, you're supposed to be fighting against this thing, isn't actually making sense anymore.
That's bad, isn't it, Andrew? I've seen where a manager of a motel, they ordered in stock rifles for the Muslims, and MI5 got involved and let it happen still.
They don't know what to do because they don't think for themselves. So they're basically thinking, wait, they're supposed to be feminists, but Islam is oppressing women and they're told to defend Islam and Muslims. So what do they do now? Well, what happens is, because they can't critically think, is they become cognitively dissonant from reality, and they just lie to themselves and say, oh, no, those women want to be treated that way. And then the Western world will create this false image of what Islam really is to the left, whilst in Islamic countries, these women are fleeing from Iran. These women are begging for help. Muslim women who are forced to do things that they don't want to do, whilst the West is literally covering for the oppressors in those countries. And it's just this really weird deceptive dynamic that has evolved over time because of just warped political ideas and weak people who have fallen into systems of control. And Rupert Lowe is putting it into a very, very clear way for people to understand. But the dynamic of this evil that is taking place is very, very deep, actually. It's a form of psychological warfare that has pretty much plagued people's minds. And it's so confusing because it doesn't make any sense that a lot of the leftist response is just to attack the people who are saying facts that contradict their worldview, that contradict their kind of reality that they painted for themselves, which is a delusion. And that's what we're witnessing. That's why you see these leftists literally calling people speaking the truth racist, Islamophobes, bigots. It's because they don't know how to deal with reality. They don't know how to deal with the fact that their worldview is false and it's crumbling, and people are showing them things that contradict their worldview. So they're just like, no, you're a bigot. No, mate, you're confused. You are confused. You are the one who is on the side of the fascists. You are the ones siding with people who want to destroy your very way of life, and then pointing your finger at the people who are trying to help you. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, the world's gone mental. But anyway, in the United Kingdom and across the West, we've seen this thing happening recently where Muslims have started praying in the streets, and people have been asking why. And even Muslims have come out and said they do it to show a sign of dominance. Well, this was a pastor's response to a Muslim who tried to pray outside of his Christian Baptist church in America. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below.
What are you doing? Pray. Oh, you can't pray here. Don't come here and pray. Do not come here and pray and want prayers here. This is a Christian Baptist church. You heard me. What did you say? There's a dumpster where you can pray those things. I don't accept Islam. This is a Christian. Well, there. You know exactly. I'm done.
People have had enough, honestly. And this is what J.D. Vance had to say about the immigration situation in America and the obstacles that are kind of in their way and preventing them from enforcing it in the way that they want to.
You cannot have a country where the American people keep on electing immigration enforcement and the courts tell the American people they're not allowed to have what they voted for. And that's where we are right now. We're going to keep working it through the immigration court process, through the Supreme Court as much as possible. And look, success to me is not so much a number, though obviously I'd love to see the gross majority of
that riot we had in 2005 at Cronulla Beach. What had happened, the Muslims would pull up in carloads of people and go leering after all the women. So the lifesavers tried to pull them up, and they just ganged up on the lifesavers and bashed them. Well, that weekend, a lot of, I'm going to sound racist here, but a lot of white Australians went down and had a big riot. So we've been on Islam for many years.
the illegal immigrants who came in under Biden deported. That actually is a secondary metric of success. Success to me is that we have established a set of rules and principles that the courts are comfortable with and that we have the infrastructure to do that allows us to deport large numbers of illegal aliens when large numbers of illegal aliens come into the country. That to
Andrew, I'm right on board with Tommy Robinson.
Me is real success.
So yeah, apparently the courts are preventing the Trump administration from actually doing what they were voted in to do. Meanwhile, in London, the Met Police have just purchased 18 of these military-style police vans at a cost of over $3 million each. It's like they're preparing for something, ... Is something going on or about to happen that people don't know about, or is this just a coincidence? Meanwhile, also in the United Kingdom, this post from Pippa B claims that Syrian dinghy migrants are cycling around throwing unknown liquids at locals. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. But this post here, this is a pretty big one. This is where the people will be heard and stand strong. And Middleton shares his love for his Britain and announces his intentions to run for London mayor.
Does Sadiq Khan need to be concerned about you?
I was losing my hair in '99, rubbing my head with this stuff called damn if I didn't bring it back. I got a funny story. I run into this guy in Beverly Hills and he goes, I have been wanting to meet you.
A new generation slingshot, carefully crafted by a Berlin arms factory, more accurate than a pistol, and legally ownable without any permits, compatible with steel balls,
Man,
stones,
I
or
want
darts,
one of these.
and
Look
able
at
to
this.
effortlessly hit any target within 200 meters without practice. This new style slingshot
Man,
went viral as
look
soon
at
as
that.
it launched. Made entirely of tungsten steel, so it never rusts. It feels comfortable in the hand, folds down to fit discreetly in a pocket, and comes with a laser sight that automatically compensates for wind speed and drop. Within 200 meters, the spot the laser points to is the point of impact. Even beginners can easily hit targets. The supplied high polymer elastic band can give the projectile greater kinetic energy.
So Khan needs to be concerned about himself. I'm the least of his worries. With what's going on with the cover-up of the gangs, what's going on with the corruption, and the neglect of Londoners, the neglect of London, and also the neglect of our British citizens and our children. He hasn't got me to worry about. He needs to worry about himself. But hopefully, by the time I run, I want to run against him. I don't want Sadiq Khan to go anywhere. I want to run against him, and this is where the people will be heard. This is where the people will stand up. This is where the people will stand strong, and they will vote me in, and it will prove and show the whole of the UK that British citizens, British patriots have a voice.
And this is actually a brilliant point, because a lot of the
Afghanistan, it probably will be named that.
British people don't feel like they have a voice. That actually
You've also got King Charles pushing the Muslims in the right direction.
represents them and their ancestors, the ones who fought for this country, the ones who died for this country in many cases. And if you speak out about that, you're apparently a bigot or a racist. Like I said before, many times, you're not allowed to speak about certain things, even though you are quote unquote allowed. You're basically shunned for it. You're basically called names for it. You're basically lied about for it. You're slandered and you're defamed for it. And it's pretty insane. I moved out of London because I saw it was becoming a hellhole. In fact, it already had pretty much become a hellhole in certain places. But I analyzed it logically and I thought to myself, this is not the type of environment I want to live in for my whole life. If I wanted to, I could move to Spain. My dad is Spanish. My mom is English. So I could move to Spain if I wanted to. But I love England. I love England. It's a beautiful country. It's where I was brought up. So I thought instead of leaving the country, I will leave London because it is a disgusting place. But hopefully if Ant Middleton does get elected, he will fix a lot of the issues when it comes to London. And he will restore the Christian representation. And he will be somebody who actually sings Christmas carols about Jesus Christ being king, unlike Sadiq Khan. If you watched my previous videos, you would have seen pretty much refusing to sing a Christmas carol claiming that Jesus Christ is king, because obviously he's a Muslim and they don't believe in the true Christ. They don't believe that Jesus Christ is king. They don't believe that he was crucified even. They deny these historical facts that literally happened about Jesus. Their entire ideology is a delusion. It contradicts history, it contradicts facts, and it's completely immoral. Anyways, here's another clip of J.D. Vance. This is pretty interesting, this one.
What are some of the biggest drivers of violence in these European societies? It's mass migration. It's people who haven't assimilated into European societies, who are driving cars into Christmas festivals, killing tons of innocent people. And very often, the European response to that is not to say, oh, well, maybe we should get control of our own borders. The response is to try to silence and shut down their own citizenry. That is a danger in Europe. It was a danger under Joe Biden in the United States of America. And look, of course, China is a major threat. It's a major competitor over the next few years, over the next few decades. But I have no doubt that America and Europe could take on whatever threats so long as we're strong internally. That's the big...
Okay, that's the problem though. London's not strong internally.
risk to our civilization. It's that weakness internally. That's what we have to fix.
J.D. Vance seems to be one of the people who could be a future president, in my opinion. I know he's vice president now, but he could really be a great future president. And what he was saying was aligning with exactly what Ant Middleton is saying. The British people need a voice. And when they speak out, a lot of the time, they are silenced for speaking out about real issues. And it's just not acceptable, honestly. Now, this video here was posted by David Atherton. And it's quite concerning, but this is real. this really happens, this kind of thing, and here's the evidence for it. Now, I can show you the beginning of this altercation, but when it escalates, obviously that can't be shown on YouTube because it is pretty extreme. But yeah, I can show you the beginning of it. Take a look at this.
Where's Emily? Can you chat to Emily? Huh? I want to chat to Emily. Huh? Look what he did, man. I want to chat to him, bro. Tell him to put up right now. Where's your fucking son? Where's your son? Where's your fucking son? Where's your son? Where's your fucking son here, bro? What happened? It's a fucking son here, bro.
Now, obviously, I'm not going to show this part, but probably about 10, 15 people beat this one guy up. And yeah, it's just unacceptable behavior in the United Kingdom. These people are criminals, and they've continued.
Muslims don't fight one-on-one. They gang up on you. They're known for it here.
Done this kind of thing. Whitechapel is probably one of the biggest Muslim areas in London, and it's just pretty insane what goes on there, to be honest. Now, Lee Harris.
Whitechapel, isn't that on the Monopoly board as a poor area?
Tweeted out, I repeat, they are not asylum seekers. They are illegal economic migrants. It seems that a lot of people know what is going on.
Who cares? They're still attacking.
Than they are outright saying, you know? He says, declare a national emergency. Put the Navy in the channel. Ignore, then leave the ECHR. Close all the hotels. Stop all benefits. Detain and deport. Enough is enough. And he's talking about the mass immigration that is taking place. These people are coming over to the United Kingdom.
Look, all fighting age men. No women, it's all men. Look at that.
Continually, consistently. And that's why I wanted to show you that document, actually, because I'm actually very curious if you believe there is a link between that document and what we are witnessing take place in Europe, in the UK, in America. Is there a connection? And if there is, share this video with your friends and family. Educate people. Get people to realize what is actually taking place. Sharing this content is one of the best ways to spread the truth. You know, I spend a lot of time and effort researching, getting this information, editing it together, publishing it, doing the thumbnails, descriptions, making sure that I'm engaging with the comments so that people are not confused if people have questions. And all you have to do is share the videos, and you can pretty much wake people up, your entire family, by just clicking the share button, sending it to all your WhatsApp contacts, all of your Facebook contacts, everywhere, X. Let's get people to wake up and realize what's going on, because society needs structure, it needs order, it needs control over danger. And when you have so many people just running rampant in a land that they are not even legally in, it's very hard to protect the civilians within that society, especially the women and the children. And it's sad, you know, it's very, very sad. But the best thing to do right now is to speak the truth, be bold about it. Don't be afraid about the weak leftist lies and slander that is thrown towards you, you know, bigot and all these types of words that they like to use so frequently to shut down conversation. Just speak the truth. Don't be afraid of what your family think of you. Just share the truth, because the truth is the truth. No matter what people think about it, it's still the truth. And this is a reality that you're seeing on screen right now. That's really happening. You know, that UN document, that is a real UN document. You know, what we see in these videos, that's really happening. It doesn't matter what people claim, doesn't matter what people think. It matters about the objective truth, the objective reality, and that is what we have the power to share. So make sure you do if you want to. Obviously, I'm not forcing you, but it would help greatly. And, you know, it would prevent these types of very ignorant statements, right? This guy, Rob Smith, he tweeted out, what an incredible time to be a free American and visit the amazing Doha, Qatar. And then he says, can't wait to return. And, you know, Ridvan, the apostate prophet, he is a Christian now, but he responded, the amazing country of Qatar, obviously being sarcastic, where leaving Islam is punishable by death. And here's the evidence for that. Qatar's laws, based on Sharia, classify apostasy, leaving Islam, as a capital offense, punishable by death under its penal code. Law 11 of 2004 for Muslims. So yeah, we have these people who just don't understand what they're promoting, what countries they are funding their tourist industries by going to these places. And Qatar is literally funding a lot of the things that are happening around the world that is detrimental to Western values, Western society, and Christian society. But a lot of very ignorant people, very uneducated people on what is actually taking place in the world promote these countries that are against the West, that literally want to destroy the West. And of course,
okay, Bobo. I was a heroin addict for 3 decades. I was on methadone for 24 years. I ended up beating it through, and so there you go.
Allow certain things to take place in their land for economic reasons, but ultimately they believe in Islam. Ultimately, they believe in Sharia, Islamic law. And you know, if you don't know what Sharia law teaches yet, I mean, you're very far behind.
Bobo, with the drugs, with heroin, there's users and there's junkies. Users do their best just to get through life. Junkies will rob their best friend. There's a difference. Not all heroin addicts rob people.
On what is actually going on in the world, and I recommend you go through a lot of my videos and just check out what is taking place and what Sharia teaches, because it is incompatible with the West completely.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and Elon Musk has been getting a lot of pressure put on him recently. Definitely check out my previous video if you haven't already done so and you want to know more about that and what is taking place in Europe and America. But Taya says Elon Musk is not the enemy of Europe. The European Union is the enemy of Europe. And let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. Other than that, I hope you all have a beautiful day. Definitely let me know what you thought about this entire situation in the comment section below. If you do want to financially support this content, various ways to do so in the description box below. Like I said, this content takes a lot of time and effort to put together, edit, publish, and
I'll do one more, guys, and then I'll show you our Christmas tree. I had it loaded. Where did it go? I didn't load. Hang on, guys. Where is it? There it is. No, what? Hang on. I just had it. So, hang on, guys. Oh, here's what I wanted. Yeah, got him. Oh, there's an ad. Skip ad.
First, it was a strange fog that came in. Now they're saying we're having unusual early snowstorms and a sky glow that was sent in as well to me. But first, we'll let you see what's happening across the United States. Right after all these events together took place, we're now entering a phase where this winter storm is going to be happening and millions have to brace for it. Across the United States, something strange is going on, and we're here to investigate that situation here today because things doesn't seem as normal as it used to be. And let's take a look deeper into the situations that is already occurring. And as of today on UC San Diego's live cam, it still shows the fog constantly rolling in over 16 days and counting. But then an eyewitness in Santa Clara, California sent me shocking eyewitness photos of what she saw on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, Vass, without the Holy Ghost, I wouldn't have the Wizard of Oz decode. You're right, mate.
We're going to get to that, but in that location is exactly where the dense fog advisory is happening. I'm going to get you back to that because that was an eyewitness account in the atmosphere. It gives me the location, everything. But first, let's get into this unusual winter season because not just locals are thinking this. You have people who actually report on weather saying this, that they saw something on radar that just doesn't look too normal to them. You need to take a look at this as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Dave, it's not man-made. Climate change is a natural event that's happened since the Earth was formed. I agree.
So apparently these narrow bands stay out of the city and they don't usually come in. And if we was to actually look at that closer there, did you see that, everybody? Did you see how it kind of almost looked like there was some type of, let's go to it right here. There was some type of rotational, you can see right there, circular pattern where there's like little lines in there. When you get close, you can see all of it. So again, this is a weather person reporting on this saying that this doesn't usually happen. And it doesn't usually flow into New York. What are you starting to see over there in New York? Is anything becoming more strange? Because just hours ago, somebody asked the question and said, what do y'all think happened to the snow? And I'm gonna let you see this video clip. This is in Chicago, but I'm gonna give you audio as well so you can hear exactly what they're saying.
We've seen snow fall like this. Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with the snow? Snow don't fall like that, yo. This looks like foam, like pieces of foam. Am I fucking tripping?
What do y'all think that is? Maybe to me, maybe that's like beads of hell within the snow. But some people saying that that's weird, and he was saying it looked like foam. And I have something I'm going to tell you towards the end of this video that is very important, that you have a watch zone, watch list. But not only that, people have been reporting in yellow like fog to me. I haven't confirmed that though, but fog advisories are going on across multiple zones of South Texas, California. Unusual early snow is being dumped on Kentucky. And then I have this clip that I really need you to see. Somebody says, I woke up with a foot of snow. The snow was making my windshield chalky as it melted. Interesting. Tell us the location. What do you see?
Nice, that's right up my alley, mate. You know me well. Already that looks good. I might do a cryptid show tomorrow and play some cryptid creatures.
Right now.
Just to mix it up a bit.
Now, I live on a mountain in Southeast Tennessee. Our skies right now says I'm 65 years old. I've never seen anything like it. It's dark. Let's read a little bit, and you still can see the pink glow. Interesting. So this pink glow is not just what I'm seeing in California from an eyewitness, which we're going to get back to the story on that. That's going to be very interesting. But there's another clip that I found. I just want to ask you the question. Doesn't snow...
Andrew, some people say it's the seals or the trumpets, because I've heard car horns in the sky on YouTube. I haven't heard it myself, but I will say this: the four angels locked up underneath the Euphrates. The Euphrates gone dry now, so they're about to get loose. I think that's seal number 6. I think Vast knows because he's the one who worked that bit out. But so already they're going to get released from Euphrates, and that's one of the seals.
Will come down and it just falls. Now, I'm not talking about if the wind is blowing it. We're talking about if there is no wind blowing it. Regular snow is supposed to just touch the ground, correct? Give me a yes or give me a no. What scenario does snow not just drop and touch the ground? I need to see in the chat, because right after I tell you that, I have to show you something. And I just want to make sure that I'm not, yes, snow falls downward, may wobble a little. Yes, I was looking at clips of snow from 2019 and earlier, and I seen nothing but snow falling down. And we're not saying without wind, we're saying no wind really. Yes, okay, everybody is saying this, it falls down. But check this clip out right here. It just happened yesterday. So again, I want you to see closely though here, because you got to really tune in and chime in without me even saying anything. I need you to take a look at this.
Wow. They're more racist than us, Di. Yeah, number 6. I knew you knew it last.
Clearly in this video, you see the snow actually moving up and then going across. It's not going to the ground. It's taking a different direction or axis. What do y'all think that is? This is happening now. This is a situation that is occurring. And I'm going to take you to something right after this, but that is pretty wild to me that we're starting to see stuff like that. Somebody says, I've experienced snow horizontal falling because of drafts causing the wind to direct it. Yeah, but that wasn't, you can.
Thus, I don't know how God would do it, But I'd love to be in that final battle at Armageddon. I would really love that.
Look at that clip, and then the wind wasn't really blowing like that. Because there's another clip where people are driving through the highway and it's actually blowing, but this one, that just wasn't the case there. And somebody says, hit that light. Yeah, definitely hit that light, because this is going to be occurring over these next weeks and days. And we're just taking the anomalies out and letting you see. Now, with this pink sky glow, this was in Santa Clara, California. And she saw this multiple times. She said this was unusual, this pink sky glow that showed up. She did a little bit of investigating, and this is what she said. Fourth photo was taken in the same location, but in the opposite direction, because I noticed a pinkish glow in the sky.
Why doesn't someone just take that snow to a pathology office and work out what it is? Why not just do that?
It's to the northeast. We thought initially that there was a fire, thus the smoke, and it was coming from what we first thought was closer to the Naval Air Base, Moffett Field, NASA, Lockheed, and Northrop Grumman, all located together there. So we wondered if the glow was a fire in the second location east of the crane site. So I will send you some second email of the pics where the glow came from. And here's the second one right here. These were taken from the crane site, but zoomed in. The glow is about 3.5 to 4 miles northeast of this location. This photo was taken from Frontage Road along Highway 101, Bowers, Great American Parkway,
Look at
on the
that.
southbound side.
That's just crazy, guys. Look at that.
What y'all think this is right here? And some of you in the chat saying y'all seen some glows that was this color in the sky. It's interesting because of the location she named that's close to these areas. So this is really some stuff that's been occurring over these last few days that is, to me, starting to stand out as what else is going on here. Somebody says it hasn't even begun to get cold in Oregon yet. Some people are saying, yeah, in some places it's getting hot. Kind of like where the fog is rolling in there. It's actually getting hot in California areas and close to Arizona. So we got cold, we got hot, we got a lot of different types of weather all in one. But I'm going to take you to something really quick. I don't know if you've heard of this, but I want to give you something that's interesting here. But before I get to this, let's look at this. Somebody says last week the sky at the horizon was pink all day. That's interesting. It's very interesting. What location was that at? Somebody says, and wait till the end, of course. Nothing in here is clickbait, so you're going to get banned. You're going to get banned. So don't come in here with that crap. So another thing is, everything in here is eye proof and everything else is evidence that we're showing. So let's go into something else. It says this, ice control for cold environments. This is something that DARPA did. I want you to see this really quickly. All right, so Michigan Tech Research blog just a few days ago, actually months ago, DARPA ice performs from Michigan Tech Christner Lab at University of Florida. So again, we just showing this right now because we think that they did it this year. And we should just look at this and make our own assumptions here. Is a principal investor for the project Ice Control Compounds from Bacterial Isolates and Functional Metagenomics, which is awarded $798,426 in funding. The project goal is to explore natural biological adaptations that control where and when and how ice crystals form. Researchers want to understand how to prevent ice formation where it processes challenges conversely. Well, that's quite interesting there. That doesn't sound like a conflict of interest, does it? All right, somebody says Yelp, JWG. What are y'all talking about, Yelp? All right, let's go into that. Y'all mean like, whoa, wow, or something. Ice controlling bacteria for snow making and de-icing. Bacteria don't enjoy being frozen. It's stressful, even deadly. But they've adapted to stay alive when the water around them freezes. Many bacteria produce antifreeze molecules such as proteins that prevent water from freezing. So we got these projects that's already occurred. We're not saying they're directly linked to the situation. However, we are looking into this as we have everything start to occur across the United States. What do you guys think, though? Is this something that's connected? or just something that's not. And while we're going through this with all the fog and everything else, like I told you, I want to give you something to watch for. So I need you to watch for unusual colors in fog or snow. People said they reported yellow. I have not got that yet. I told them to send in photos. They haven't did it. Light reflections that look above normal, fog that appears to glow from within. I need you to send me that if you're seeing fog doing any of those scenarios. Since we're seeing these glows in the sky, and a lot of you are telling me you're seeing it too. So I'm gonna give you some more information here. What else can we look for? Okay, snow that looks granular instead of fluffy. Snow that looks.
Okay, guys. I'll show you what the let me unplug this. Shouldn't make the battery. Hang on. Okay. That went well. I'll show you our Christmas setup, guys. That's my room. There's our Christmas thing. Can I see the lens? There's Mum. Where'd you go? Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, there's our Christmas tree. You can't see the lens, really. Look.
Because they're white. That's the lantern.
Okay, guys, I'm hanging up. See you tomorrow, guys. No, yeah. God bless, guys.
So take that other cat.